everyone, welcome. We've missed you something awful. Welcome to 30 Frames a Second, and you figured it out. It's Takeover Tuesday. We are the women who normally work backstage while Nat is annoying the heck out of the rest of you. And today, we get to take over Tuesday. Now, he's okay. He's locked away, but we'll let him go later. Maybe. Let me start with introducing everyone. I'm going to start with introducing myself because I forget often. I'm Luciera, and I am a runway choreographer and a life coach and an all-around actress and just a speaker. You can think of me that way. I have been the runway coach for Miss USA and Miss Universe for the last 15 years and several major design brands as well, such as Ashley Stewart and things of that nature. Now I want to get on to introducing my ladies because they are just smoking. We have a young entrepreneur who is blazing the fashion scene with her online vintage clothing store all the way from Brooklyn. She's our resident young person who keeps us in check. Neray Wells. Say hi.
Hello. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. Excited to be back. I missed you all. Can't wait till we're back in the studio.
And next, we could not do this without Sheila. It just would be impossible. Sheila is the executive producer of Community Cop, and she also has her own show, The Gospel Showcase. Sheila, say hello. We're so happy to see you.
Hello there. Oh, I'm happy to be back, and I'm happy to see all of you. I'm so happy I can get up and shout.
I'll let you introduce your friend and our guest today. Please introduce the lady next to you.
This is a wonderful lady with a big heart who reaches out to the community and to all of her neighbors. She's a giving person in every way, in every form that she can. I admire her because she reminds me of me when I was her age. She speak out, and she stand up, and there's no backing down. She's a woman who knows how to say, what to say, and she's educated well. None other than Miss Maxine Breezy.
Hello, Maxine, and welcome.
Maxine. Thanks for having me.
Yay! We look forward to your input, and please join right in at any moment. Now, last but not least, because I am so proud to call this chick one of my BFFs, she rolls like nobody else. Let me just say, if a serial killer chasing you and you run it down in dark alley, that's the chick you want on your side. That's all I'm gonna say.
I thought it was me, but
Veronica.
Yes.
As VK, she is the founder of the People's Film Festival, and she also has her own show here on Manhattan Neighborhood Network called the VK Report. Hello, Veronica.
Hi, everyone. I'm so happy to see everybody. It is like so exciting. Long time coming. It's been a good year. Yes, I'm excited.
It has been a year since we've seen each other mostly. I mean, Veronica and I, you and I did do some work for the People Film Festival remotely.
It was amazing. I think it was one of the best shows too. We really, yes, because I had more control, and it wasn't, so it really, really was so well. Yeah, I loved it.
On that note, what are some of the things we all did while at home, AKA lockdown? I want to start because I did something I would have never thought I would have had the time or the energy to do. I read the Bible from cover to cover, and not just read it. I hired a Bible expert to do a Bible study with me every day. So we broke it apart and dissected it, and he took me to the Greek and the Latin and the Hebrew and just opened up a whole new world for me. Not to mention, I encouraged people daily. I made sure after lunch and dinner, ladies, I walked 100 times the width of my floor. Just to be sure, I finished looking the same way as I started out. Okay? Not to mention I did projects in the house. I love painting and glazing and things of that nature. What are some of the things you ladies did?
Okay, so I want you all to know that I became a remote learning teacher. thanks to New York City Public School and COVID, because what they did is that they made teachers, well, parents become teachers. No choice of their own. So I'm saying it to be funny, but yeah, it's been kind of tough. It's funny. A lot of people say, "Oh, I have a greater appreciation for teachers and all that they do." I've always had a great appreciation for teachers and everything that they do. That's why I didn't want to be one. And so now here it is. For me, it's times 3. And we are in remote learning. But it's good because you get to watch and you get to monitor. I want to say I really respect Success Academy. That's where my children, they go to Success Academy because they made the decision very early on to keep the schools closed until they found out what was going to happen with this COVID pandemic. New York City Public Schools were open and shut, blended learning, and we lost a lot of students. I think they said 162,000 students didn't show up. That's unacceptable. So we kind of lost a lot, but we lost time. But I've gained a lot as well. A newfound career.
All right, Neray, what did you do?
Are you certified? Well, for me, because my business was already based online, e-commerce based business. So as far as my business goes, it's been flourishing. I'm also a part founder of another a hair and skincare manufacturer. So during COVID, we've been busy and growing and backed up with trying to churn out manufacture these products, and we've been getting business from all over the world virtually. And that's basically due because everybody's at home, so they're thinking, well, what can I do? How can I expand my side hustle? And we are one of the few manufacturers that could capacitate that. So
yes. And Sheila. Oh, I'm sorry, Neray. Please continue.
That's okay.
Sheila, what did you do?
I'm not trying to throw depression on anyone, but I went to a lot of homegoing services. And I was hurt because of the fact I'm still working on my documentary, and a lot of people that I wanted to talk about have passed away. I even lost my vice president, which all of you knew, Minister Gary Samuels. And I've been catching up, a lot of paperwork, and I've been pushing myself because it seemed like my body was just drained, from getting. And I said, no, the devil is a liar. And I just kept moving and moving, and I'm still moving because I know things will get better with me in the physical sense because God has me here for a purpose, and that's to give encouraging words because I know who He is.
Amen. And Maxine?
Basically, what I've been doing is sharing with my neighbors. I have been blessed to have donations given to me by a council person. And it was funny because how it began was I asked for some onions, and I was given a 50-pound bag of onions.
Wow.
What am I going to do with all of these onions? And the person that gave it to me said, well, you were blessed, go bless someone else. So I sat in my laundry room with plastic bags, and every neighbor that passed, I asked, would you like some onions? And before I knew it, the onions were gone. And it was then that I realized that my neighbors where I live are in need. So I reached back out to this person and I said, what could I do to help? And how can you help me to help? And this person was able to share with me what I call sharing is caring boxes. And I began to hand these boxes out in the lobby of my building. And my purpose for that was to service the seniors that are locked in, that require home health aides and adult children to come and get them and bring them out to the stores. And I figure if I can give them these things, maybe these things will sustain them until they're able to get the things that they need from outside.
Wow. Excellent.
That's
excellent,
amazing.
Excellent. Now, she just brought up a subject. How does everyone feel about the vaccine? Who's getting it and who's waiting?
I've gotten it just yesterday.
I had all Had all two.
Sheila,
Yep.
All
you
right.
had yours?
Yep, both of them. Tuesday,
Okay.
Tuesday was 1 week for my last shot.
Okay. Narek,
Yeah, I'm undecided, but I did register already, and I actually was really prepared to do it, and I couldn't get an appointment. I couldn't get an appointment. So I said, well, you know what, maybe this is a sign. I don't know. So I haven't gotten the shot as of yet, but I mean, it's there. I think it's important that we all consider it. I know what happened in the past as far as the Tuskegee experiment, and how we are very apprehensive when it comes to that because of even women in general, how they were used.
absolutely.
I understand, that fear and, that distrust, but and then also here it is, we are the test, we're the guinea pigs. This is the
That's
trial.
right.
We don't know what the outcome is going to be, so there's a lot to go with it, but no, not me, not yet. Thinking about
Narek?
it.
So I was planning on waiting. I've been waiting. But then a couple weeks ago, my boyfriend called me. He was like, they have the Johnson & Johnson shot available. I can fill out the paperwork for you. There's no line. You don't have to wait. You can just come up here and get it. So I went ahead and just did it, but I was very apprehensive to begin with in my long term. Like, I didn't have any plans to getting it until maybe like the fall. Let the study come out, let some more data come out. But because the opportunity presented itself, and it was the one shot opposed to having to do the two, I went ahead and did it. It was like in the middle of it was like 8 o'clock at night when I got the phone call to come and get it. So I just went ahead and did it.
Lucky
I
you.
myself have not as well, Veronica. I've been waiting. Now I will add, I've been waiting and praying just on what I should do. I think what makes me a little apprehensive is the fact that I've never seen anything on television that said, this is a cure, but there are no long-term side effects. So I
Yeah,
was just giving it a little more time.
just to
And maybe
see.
my plan is really naive and quite silly, but I figure if enough of you get it, I can wait a little longer.
Right. That was my thought.
Job, that's my plan. I'm just saying.
Like, I'm gonna let y'all be the trials. Yes.
Don't judge
Yeah,
me.
but
I
you
got
know
a
what's so
plan here.
crazy?
So if all
They're
y'all
all
get it, I can wait a little longer. But I'm with you, Veronica.
But then they're all online. They're saying, "Go get the test. Go get go get the shot. Go get the shot." And it is not as accessible as you would like for it to be. And
Well,
I'm in the Black community. They're saying that we don't go out, we won't test. I scoured that internet trying to get to get the vaccine, and it doesn't exist. Everything, you become discouraged, and so therefore you give up, and so it also adds to those fears that you may have. We don't, the access really isn't there, and it angers me sometimes when I listen to them say, "I'll just go get the shot." No, it's not that. And then when you look at the disparities in terms of who's getting a shot and who isn't, it makes you wonder, like, what is really going on. And I don't even want to put that negativity out there, but I guess if I really pushed, I could, but they're making it easy for me to say no.
but
I will say that.
I will say, in contrast, Veronica, everybody that I know that's gotten the vaccine, none of them had an appointment. It was
Really?
always,
See?
I just walked into this place today. I have a Chinese friend. She went down to not Soho, but near Chinatown, and she just happened to walk in and get her vaccine. In Brooklyn, I know of 3 people who just walked in, and this one particular guy, he called his girlfriend down, like, "Come down here, they got the vaccines." So I think that online or trying to book an appointment, I wouldn't even do it. If you know a place that's doing it, I would take my chances. If you want to
funny
get the
because
vaccine.
I was driving by one place and they said vaccines here, and I'm like, you would think that there would be tons of people wrapped around the corner. There was no one there. I said, you know
Wow.
what? I should go in there. But, like,
And that's
again, I
how I've
said, they
been.
make it easy for me to say no. But I heard that they're going to create a new portal in which it'll be easier, more accessible for people so that they can get their appointments or whatever it is that they need. And I hopefully that'll be done because this pandemic and now with the new variants and it's really, really getting bad. In fact, like a lot of people were fleeing the United States or fleeing different states, going different places, going to Canada. Canada shut their doors. They are at a level 4. And so you can't come there because you will probably get it. That is the highest level of contamination. So therefore, Brazil, these are places that you cannot go to just because in this virus is highly contagious. So we have to be very careful, very mindful. And I'm very skeptical now and they're opening up everything, but yet I've heard that some of this vaccine may last for 6 months. Okay.
Do you think the vaccination should be mandatory?
I believe
After a certain time, you think it should be mandatory?
I believe that's where it's going. I mean, to travel, to go out of the country to see the show, that's pretty much what they're leaning. They were even trying to attach it to the stimulus checks. So many business about us getting vaccinated. And next year, this time, we'll probably walk in CVS and Walgreens, and pharmacists will probably be saying to you, have you had your COVID shot? Just like they say, have you had your flu shot? I think that you probably have more access to getting the shot through your doctor's office because I get bullets through my phone all the time. Fortunately for me, I work for the Office of Mental Health and they have provided it to us. We work side by side with the Department of Education and they also have provided it for them as well. That's where I received my shot. Now, the first time that they asked me was on the 29th of last month. I declined because I had an event coming up and I just felt like, what if I have side effects and not able to make my event?
Wow.
Then I pushed a little further. Like I said, I got it just yesterday. By the time my event comes and leaves, I haven't had the second shot yet. It'll probably go to the first week of May. But I strongly suggest that we do because, I mean, when you look around and you see all of these immigrants that are coming into our country and, no one is really doing any health checks on these individuals, we don't know what's coming in our country. And we got to start ourselves. We really just do. I didn't want to take it either, but at this rate, I'd rather be safe than sorry.
I hear you.
And talking about what's going on in our country, let's get a little bit more specific and talk about what's going on in Georgia right now with the voting and all the voting rules and how they are tightening up on who can vote. And we know why they're doing that because they did not like the outcome of what happened in Georgia the last voting session. I think Georgia was under a very big microscope. Anything there? What's our lady name, Veronica? You're my politician woman. Is her name Stacey?
Yes, Stacey Abrams.
Yes.
Love her. Love her.
Yes. Love her and what she's doing. Do you think, rumor has it, she'll be running again?
And she should because she believes it as well. It was stolen from her by the present governor now, and he's something else. I mean, basically, he created all of these barriers for people to come out and vote. Like if you're standing online, and the people there, they've been standing online for hours, sometimes even 10 hours. So no, don't bring no water. You will get arrested. And this is why, because when I didn't know what was the basis of when Biden said these Jim Crow laws. I was like, whoa, he's, hitting hard. But, after I found out what was actually going on, I was like, Jim Crow is right. I said, they might as well just grab a bag of marbles and tell everybody to count and just guess how many marbles is in there before you can vote. Do you know all of the states, all of the president, before you would vote? And I think it's unfair. And they're passing these type of Jim Crow law bills that's allowing and it's really clearly showing the racism and the the white supremacist attitude with regards to who's empowered and who has the right to come out to vote. Why are you disenfranchising people and making it difficult for them? What are you afraid of? That's the question.
Anyone else on that topic?
I just like to say I think it's despicable to say the least. What more is there to say? They know exactly what they're doing. Whatever game it is they're trying to play, they have an end goal, and we all know what that goal is. What they're afraid of, they are afraid of Stacey Abrams because she came this close. So they're like, oh, we can't let this happen again because if she becomes the governor, we're going to officially become a blue state, and they don't want that. So that's
Right.
what they're.
Well, supposedly she actually won.
Yeah.
Well, the president of his name is Brian Kemp, and he's something. And they actually threw out she's a politician. She came knocking on the door to try to stop the vote for them to prevent this bill from passing, saying that you can't feed anybody or get water on on the line, and they threw her out. Basically, they strong armed her, grabbed her. I mean, like if you look at the pictures or the video, if you see it, her feet are off the ground. They were pretty much picking her up, dragging her out of there. She has a brace on her arm now. I said they probably broke her arm because of the way but there was no respect at all. Here it is. She's a politician. You had insurrectionists that took over the Capitol, shot and killed people.
That's our next topic.
Right. But I'm just saying, killed people and everything, and you did nothing to them. And yet here it is. This woman was just knocking on the door to talk to her governor. She's a politician just like you are. She's a legislator just like you are. And you threw her out like trash. It's unfortunate.
So how do we feel about the fact that there are those who are trying to say those who stormed the White House, our Capitol, were terrorists? They were disguised amongst the protesters, but they weren't protesters. They were terrorists that were actually disguised there. How do we feel about that?
Some of them were terrorists, and some of them were everyday Republicans. Yeah, it was a combination of people that were there. I think I can't even say who the bulk of the people were, but I know a lot of them were Republicans. A lot of them believed that Trump did not lose and he had the election stolen from him, and he still believes that as well. But I tell you, when he won, and beat Hillary, his first thing he said when he was addressing the public, I think he said, boy, this election is rigged, because he knew something. And now that same rigged election has come home to roost and bite, and now you're against it. Why do you believe that something was rigged? Because what do you know? What do you know what happened during your time? Because Hillary had, the popular vote, but yet still lost. Something right there. It's rigged, like he said. Yes, something is not right. So yeah, but as far as who was there, it was a combination of some who may have been terrorists, white supremacists, Republicans, white nationalists. It was a combination of people that were there. Did they intend to hurt and kill? I don't know, but they did. There was a lot of angry people out there. You're not going to affect policy change by fighting. It's not going to happen.
Not a protest that's not peaceful. Sheila, you wanted to say something?
Well, this is going into a different field because you're talking about politics. You mentioned earlier about food and what we're going through here at Jamie Towers. That's why Maxine is here, because it's a fight. It's a shame when people don't want to see other people have food, and these people are really in need. Maxine, you can tell the story.
Well, actually, again, I started handing out the boxes for the seniors in the building. And it was brought to my attention that the board members and management did not want that to happen, not inside of Jamie Towers property. Wow. So what I did was I asked Sheila and another neighbor to go over to management to find out why, because a lot of the neighbors can't make it outside to obtain these items from elsewhere. And it was a convenience for them to just go down to the lobby. We were putting them on walkers, we were putting them on scooters, and these folks were going back into the elevator up to their apartments with this food. So I wrote the board, I emailed the board, and appealed to them that it appears to be an egregious act. It appears to be retaliatory. And how could they be so heartless and say no? So the board wrote me back, and they just basically said to me, if you tell us where your resources are coming from, and if you help us to become a food distribution site, we then can become a blessing to the neighbors. But again, like I said, my source asked to remain anonymous, and that I'm going to honor 100%. They asked that I not give the food out on the property because there are liabilities to that. So my husband and I moved the food out to the street. We took it out of the building and we brought it out to the street. So now I'm not just a blessing to the tenants in Jamie Towers, I'm a blessing to the entire community. And to hell with the board for saying no. I mean, I would love to knock on some of the elderly neighbors' doors and just leave a care package outside of their door. But you realize they're afraid. They don't know who I am. A lot of them may be suffering from dementia or some other, thing, about their age. And who will open that door to somebody? You don't know what I may do or what I may not do. I mean, it's just sad. It's just absolutely sad. But I continue to hand it out. I put up flyers in all of the buildings in Jamie Towers and welcomed everybody to come out to the street. Where it initially started for the seniors here in this building, now, I just welcome whoever. I'm not going to turn a child away or a mom or a single parent away walking down the street. I'm going to offer it to whoever walks by, and you guys are welcome to come out too.
Well, thank you.
I do it every Wednesday at 3:30. I come from work and my husband and I get right out on the street. And I also do it Saturday mornings at 8:30 in the morning. And I try to get out early so that I don't exhaust my only day off. But still want to make it available to the neighbors. So those neighbors.
That's incredible, Maxine. We are very happy that you're doing that. Speaking of our communities, how many of us saw immediately or maybe eventually our communities really taking heed to wearing the mask, being 6 feet behind, not touching things? For instance, in my grocery store, there were still people who wouldn't really care about being 6 feet. So I started putting my buggy cart behind me and standing in front of the buggy cart so you couldn't be close on me. While waiting in line for the bank was some of the worst because I'd be standing out there an hour and have people who look at me at like a weak link, I guess because of my size, and say, oh, I'm going to jump in front of her. But when they realized crazy recognized crazy, it was okay, boo. A couple of people said they'd wish they had videos. Because I told one lady one time, said, don't let people in front of you. I said, woman, a lot could happen today. It might snow in April. We might get an illness that bring the world to its knees. But let me tell you what ain't gonna happen today. Somebody get in front of me. And you had to have a visual. At that time, I thought maybe the illness could go in your eyes. So I had goggles on. I had my hoodie. I didn't want you on my hair. And I didn't have a lot of gloves. So I just put on my big dishwashing yellow gloves that was up in here. I had my raincoat. I had a certain look going on. You would have thought there was meth involved. Yes. But I tell you what, I looked at everybody and said, trust me, I ain't the one. So I'm just saying, in my community, things got a little sketchy. I'm proud to say I hung in there, but how were your communities with following 6 feet behind and the mask and things of that nature?
For me, it seems like everyone was following it. I think they were very respectful of others' space.
Wow.
I've seen lines outside the door, people waiting to get in, and to be honest, the only time I encountered someone with a mask on might have been like inside of a department store, and but they won't let you in with it. But you know what? I think what happens is that you wear the mask, and sometimes you can't breathe, so you got to bring it down and then put it back up. But I haven't, you know, one of the things that I am very mindful of is people that are coughing. Like I was in the store and this woman, she was coughing, and I'm like, really? I was
You
really?
can't have allergies these
You
days.
need to go home.
Right.
Are y'all really gonna
Right.
let her in here? I started talking like, you know, so that people can see that this woman
Like
is coughing. She should have stayed home. Yeah, but no, I tell you, I think everybody, and you know, Lou, you were protected totally. You had everything on, and I think they was afraid of you.
Yes,
What
they
you got
should
on?
have been.
Yellow gloves,
Neray,
yellow kitchen gloves.
what was Brooklyn? What was Brooklyn like, Neray?
I think Brooklyn, it was, I think there was a mix. Like, so there was people who, of course, was respectful. But then I think as you walk down the street, people just, not even the mask at the chin. They just, no mask, no care, talking loud, you know. So I really didn't have too many crazy issues. I did travel a little bit. I went to Texas, and you know how you wait on the shuttle bus to go to like the rental car place. I did have to say to a guy like, I'm gonna need you to put your mask on. And he was upset at first, but his wife looked at him like, honey, put your mask on. And I'm like, good, because he need to put his mask on or nobody's about to move on this bus. Because so, but it was, I mean, I haven't really seen that many issues. I haven't had an issue like yours, Lou, at all.
Oh, okay.
That was as close as it got.
Sheila and Maxine.
I went to a homegoing service for Reverend Hill over on Amsterdam Avenue this summer. And I made sure that I went in the church while the church was barely empty. And then I came outside. And this young man that I knew from his birth, he called me his big sister, and he works for the funeral parlor. He came, went up and rubbed the dead person all over, and I sanitized everything down and went outside. And he came back and put his hands on. I went ballistic. You better be glad that the Lord saved my tongue from cussing. Like I used to say. But
I know that's right.
trying to tell me that when, even though the man died of COVID, when the body is cold, that it's not harmful, and that was his godfather, and he just said, but don't touch my stuff, don't touch me, and stay out of my way.
Anything that you want to add to this?
Like I said, I just encourage people, gear up. I know it's only 6 months protection, but you know what? 6 months can be a lot if you're fighting for your life.
Can I add something as well?
Mm-hmm.
I think when people are impacted by COVID, have either family member or lost a family member or had it themselves personally, they are a little bit more conscious about their behaviors with regards to how they cover up. Because just like I said, I don't see it that much here in my building. One of the things that we do, like you're doing, Maxine, we actually give out food distribution as well. Our management actually helped us started or pushed it, and now 1,000+ meals later. But because of that, because we are all in that mindset, everybody is mindful of it. Even now to this day, they don't come outside, they have their mask on and everything, because they are intimately aware and involved and have probably been impacted in some way or the other. And I think that once family members or it happens to them, then they change. But for those who haven't been impacted by it, they still carry on as though.
What, ladies, do you do now you didn't do before because of COVID? that you see yourself doing in the future. Let me give you an example. I wipe down my keys with Clorox wipes. I never did that before this, but I'm going to keep doing that. And yeah, I used to clean my phone every once in a while. After touching money now, you would think something happened to me after touching money. I carry my own homemade sanitizer that I make. It's 2 parts alcohol and 1 part aloe vera. And the alcohol has to be more than 70%. But I have them all over my house. I carry one in my backpack, one in my purse, every time in my luggage. In the freezer bags, you can keep Clorox wipes and they keep forever. There are some things that I started doing that even after this virus is long gone, I'm going to be wiping my keys and washing my hands after money. Biggest one. I was big for opening like that or ripping my energy bar in the morning because they so hard to pull. That was a given. Now I don't open anything with this mouth. Nothing. I feel sorry for the next man that come to French kiss me. Nah, boo, right here. Nothing. Nothing going in here anymore. So, are there things that you started since COVID that you see yourself doing moving forward?
Yeah, I think I'm just more conscious and more aware. Like one of the things, like say for instance, you because we use public laundry, so you spray out with Lysol and things like that. But
The
I
room
think,
or the
huh?
machine?
In the machine, before you
Oh,
throw your
okay.
clothes in there, because
Okay.
I don't, I don't know, you don't want to insult anyone that just took their clothes out, but
Please. Is so.
I'm
I'll
just
insult
saying.
you more than you. I'll spray you down. Listen, guys, my clients still come to my studio, and
Mhm.
this is the procedure. Neray knows, right, Neray? When they come in, I spray their body back and front. Then I take their temperature from their neck. Then they must go straight to the bathroom, wash their hands thoroughly, and use my hand sanitizers. Right, Neray? I'll
Yes,
wrap your
yes,
whole body down. And so,
yes, yes.
well,
Yeah, I haven't. I finally jumped back on a train this year. Before, what was it? Maybe February was my first time back on a train, in in a year, and
yeah.
so I was happy for that procedure for you to spray me down, spray my butt down. on
I spray everybody back and front
the
before you
train.
come in the house. I ain't playing. You get insulted right outside on the street. You in the table.
I use gloves when I pump the gas, and then I
Okay.
dump them. Like you, I'm wiping down my keys. I'm wiping down my phone. Thankfully, I don't share office with someone at work, so I'm able to keep that area clean. But in my world, prevention be secure. Now, you have to go there in order for you to realize just how close you got. Because I could have been in one of those refrigerated trucks.
Absolutely. Well,
Are
ladies,
we being overly protected, or
no,
is it no?
no,
Okay.
I
no.
like what Maxine said.
We're
Prevention beats
living.
the cure.
I mean, at least I'm living. You should know I'm back to traveling.
So
I'm up
then,
to 2 states a year. I have clients coming. I
mhm,
have not turned away work. I've been doing. No, we're just precautious and wise. And
right,
most
right.
of us, excluding Ray, and maybe you, Veronica, I don't know, we're at a certain age group. It dawned on me. I'm at that age group that they could, you know what I mean? It ain't like, well, I'm in
Yeah.
that age group. It dawned on me, well, 50 and oh, that's me. Okay. Yeah, what I need
Mhm.
to do again? No, I don't think we are.
We're not.
May
Yeah.
I say on that note, I have been so touched and blessed, and I am so happy that all of you ladies, and of course our fearless leader. I wouldn't even just to think something happening to Nat, I wake myself up in the dream and slap myself. Yeah, I
Mhm.
can't even dream of something. So I am so happy that all of you are here and you
Yeah.
are safe. Now, this is what I would like to do. I would, like always, because we are the positive ones in here. Nat does enough really good stuff to make people scared, afraid, and angry. Our note is to do just the opposite. So I want us to now go through and talk about either something we've learned about ourselves through this, something we've done differently, whether that be spiritually, emotionally, or financially, or physically. If it's something new, you never know. For instance, I have become much better on a computer. And don't listen to Nerea if she says I haven't. I have become. I got on this Zoom all by myself.
All by herself today. So you're doing much better. No, I'm gonna give you that.
Thank you. So technology is one of those things that but let me go to you ladies first. What is something you've either learned about yourself or something you're now doing differently? Maybe something you're trying or you didn't know. You took classes online, a dance class, you never did it before. You're trying to learn languages or anything of that nature. Anyone jump in.
Before I would go in the street and get a slice of pizza at the pizza parlor, or go, have lunch out. And you know how I used to order when we were downtown.
Mm-hmm.
I can't do that anymore because I know I have to lift up my mask to eat, and or to drink whatever I'm going to drink. I'm leaning towards more vegetable and
Good.
learning how to fix different vegetable dishes. Like I could eat cabbage soup, for a whole week, and that wouldn't bother me. It tastes so good. I enjoy my cabbage soup, and I eat roasted vegetables. And I love cabbage, collard greens and stuff, and roasted vegetables. And before I would eat the stuff, but not like the way I'm doing it now. I've watched even my body even more. I asked the doctor more questions. My blood pressure actually, since this pandemic, went down to one, something like 160 over 80, something like that.
Wow,
Good, very good.
And I'm losing pound by pound. I'm not rushing myself. I'm not on what you call a diet, but I just eat different. And I'm enjoying my food because I don't mind Googling up a recipe about different vegetables that I have. I'll be 75 in May, and there are vegetables that I have not tried. And when I see them on the cooking channel, the Create channel, I look it up and find out, what they're all about, how do you prepare it in another way. And I watch my sodium intake drastically because I like things a little hot.
that's excellent, Sheila. We are so proud of you, and we want you around a long time. And I think that is awesome, awesome, awesome. Anyone else?
Well, I can't say that I've been watching what I eat. I will say that I have been cooking more at home opposed to, being out all day. Usually I would have long days. I would have a job during the day, evening I'm at the theater at nights, and so I would have long days. And if I'm out, then I would, buy, I may buy breakfast in the morning, or I might buy coffee, and then plus lunch. And then if it's a long day, now I need dinner. So, I'm definitely cooking a lot more. I think that's one thing.
No,
for sure.
I'm sorry. I'm going to disagree with Nerea. But Nerea also has stepped out on faith and got a location for her business that she's doing very well. I am so proud of her that, yes, she's still virtual, but now she has a location that's hers, and she made it uniquely hers. So she is not walking in fear. What if I don't work? What if she is stepping out on faith, and she's building a brand that's a physical location now. So I hope I didn't get you in the. We didn't say where it was, Nerea. All of your men friends won't come visit, but we are really proud of Nerea for doing it.
Oh, thank you, Lou. I appreciate that, and I am excited about the growth of my company. So yes, thank you.
Excellent.
It's funny. I kind of like in the middle with both of everyone because how Sheila's talking about her eating habits changed, and then Nerea talking about in terms of her business and structuring it and looking towards that. I think what's happening during this time is that it has given us the opportunity to sit and think and contemplate and grow. I've developed more patience sitting here.
Yes.
And the funny thing is that I've kind of like tapped into more of an emotion, very emotional. So all the pieces that I'm putting together is laced with emotion because there's so much that's going on in this world. And every day, and I do pray. I'm very spiritual. I say, wow, this world needs help. It's not just one person, it's affecting everyone. And all of us put on our COVID weight. They said the average is between 1 to 30 pounds. Well, look at her. Uh-oh. But and so then and just sitting there and but I really believe that we have many of us have tapped in and developed and understanding of ourselves and just understanding our emotion, understanding just what's happening in the world and how that is affecting us, which is it has really been affecting me. I don't like it.
early on in COVID, we had so much happening, right? Like within April, May, and June, with Ahmaud Arbery, George Floyd, Tiana Taylor. There was so much early, and I think for me, like it just, early on, you just be mad. You just was mad. That's what's on TV between that and the COVID. There was little one. A lot to be upset about, but then I think as I moved forward, I said I couldn't let it stop you or hinder you or not take advantage of the time, whether it was taking an extra class online or thinking of something positive or striving for something better. And a lot of that came out of that anger.
What would be your advice to people who feel like, well, I can't do anything, I'm scared to death? Veronica, what would be your advice to those people who may have to still homeschool? Do you send your kids back? Do you try? Do you get tutors if you can't do it? Sheila, what would be your advice to people of a certain age who are paralyzed with fear? And I know a lot of them. They won't go anywhere. They won't talk to anybody. They don't care if the church is open back up. They're not going. I mean, you get 6 feet, 10 feet away from them. They're like, excuse me. They are just paralyzed. I'd like to hear each of you speak on what your advice would be to that group or any other group. Narrator, let's start with you. Young people who work for themselves or want to work for themselves, but are afraid in this financial time.
You can't be afraid. And then I think something that I've learned from you is that, walking with God or having God in your life. And I think for me, it was more so my understanding of, how I, cherish or honor God or walk with God is because of my faith. It was my faith that brought me to New York. It was my faith that kept me here for so long and allowed me to not, to survive, New York, because a lot of people say, I can't believe you live in that big place, or isn't it so expensive? I think, that's something that I've always had it within me before even realizing, which we'll probably say before I realized it last year, was that was my faith in God, or in my understanding.
Amen.
So I would just say it's have faith. Fear is crippling. It will paralyze you if you let it. But that's if you let it, because that's something that you put out there, then that's something that you bring in, or so if you put it out there, if you say it, then you remain in that way. You have to speak positivity or manifest something different.
Veronica, your advice to those who have to stay home with the little ones?
Well, you see, I just brought the little one in. I think during this time, and I'm going to address it towards that with media, because if you notice, you will have children come into screens, you're watching a newscaster and someone running in the back or whatever. Everything has changed in terms of how we consume media, how we review it and see it. And what I will say is just embrace it. We can't change it.
Yes.
It is what it is. And so sometimes you're watching television and you'll see a newscaster and the lighting is totally off. It's okay, because this is the sign of the times. We cannot change it. Embrace it. Um, and to those newscasters, I want them to say, welcome to our world, because on public access, this is what we do. By any means necessary, we will tell that story and get that information out there. And a lot of times it's not the aesthetics, it's what you say. And so now we are now shifting and tuning our thoughts and our voices and our views and opinions based on what the person is actually saying, as opposed to the aesthetics and what we assume it should be. So I'm saying embrace it. Embrace new media, embrace the behaviors, embrace the time frame, the consumption, how it is, embrace the children that walk across the screen that sometimes we got to bring in to say hello. Because it's, who cares? Why are we so hung up?
Powerless.
Let it
You
go.
gotta go with it.
Life.
Sheila,
Exactly.
what would you say to those people who are just paralyzed in our age group? Just paralyzed.
Well, what I normally do is give them different songs. I said, "Don't believe me. I did not write the book." I would give them the 23rd. I would give them the first. And I go on because songs can be very, very encouraging to people who have fear. And I have one saying that a lot of us use. It's not even a cliche. God has not given me the spirit of fear, but a sound mind. And you have to, especially in my age group, they're scared of computers.
I know.
I said, how you do it when you kid? I'll tell my child, you do it for me. Oh, no, I won't. But it's happening. I would be encouraging in that, that way to them. And hope that they really, really read the Psalms and listen, to me, what I have to say about moving on in life, because life is something that you're supposed to learn something every single day. You're never too old to learn something. You're never too old to practice what is the right thing to do.
That's right.
And what you're going through, I believe it to my heart. There's a song I would sing it for you, but you didn't ask me to. It's called.
I'll sing.
No, Veronica. We not talked about that, Veronica. We not talk. Please, baby.
That we're going.
We talked about that. It's Maxine's time to talk. Maxine, how would you encourage those out there? Because personally, you should know, Maxine, you have really touched me. I do more than I would care to say, but the last 4 years, I've given every girl in 18 churches a brand new prom dress with $1,000 tag on it. Not used dresses. Yeah, I got 9 boxes here because prom is canceled. Twice, I invited any church member over and I paid my accountant, my media person, and my attorney to come over and talk to them about opening up their own corporation and how to start. Twice, I invited my studio and home was packed, and I taught people how to put on makeup for job interview, and I bought 50 pair of eyelashes, the makeup, and stuff like that. So I myself get a high from giving. There is something, and giving makes you totally appreciate so much more what you have. Instead of focusing on that person, oh, he's a billionaire, he's a this. When you help those around you, you come home like, I am so blessed. I will never complain. I am not fixing my mouth. So, Maxine, you've encouraged me today. Your job well done. But what would you say in these last few minutes I have to encourage those around you who want to help but don't know how? How would they get started with that?
I think a lot of kids, and I think Veronica would be able to testify to that. A lot of kids are now dealing with depression just because that socialization piece has been taken away from them and because they are working online. So I would like for people to know that there's people out there that they can call, that they can ask for help because depression is real. And just having to get used to not having that routine, which will turn their worlds upside down. I think we got a lot to learn from this pandemic, and we got a lot of making up to do in the event that, some other catastrophe comes along. We got to better prepare ourselves how we're going to deal with the young folks.
Right.
Wow,
Right.
that is excellent.
Mhm.
Thank you. Maxine,
Yeah.
I just want to say we have our last 2 minutes. We are so happy you came. I just want to extend an invitation. You are more than welcome. Sheila, thank you so much for bringing Maxine. What just a wonderful, pleasant surprise. And Maxine, again, you have found a home. Feel free. Next time we let Nat out to give us a date, we'll make sure you get it. You are more than welcome to be there. Neray, you're looking exceptionally beautiful today. I did not get a chance to tell you that. I
Thank
love the
you.
hair. I love
Mhm.
everything going on. And Veronica, I'm just so proud of you. And these last minute, Veronica, tell us where the People's Film Festival is at this point, because we are in
Yes.
April.
Okay, so then we have one more week of late submissions, but we're back. We're going back to the Magic Johnson Theater. Only at 25% though, because
That's
of
okay.
the pandemic. But we are in there. But we're also online, Eventive, which is so we're a full week from May 30th to June 6th. We will have a combination of online and at the Magic Johnson Theater, and we're excited about that, and they're excited about us coming back as well.
Give them an email. How do people find you?
Yes, just go to the peoplesfilmfestival.com. We should start our selection soon, and and tickets, get tickets. And now it's like the demand is first come, first serve. Once you fill, that's it. There's no showing up at the door. It's not going to happen. There's no cash payments, no all of that. Online, you got to purchase it, and that's it. Nobody can take your seat. Your seat is your seat.
We want to say thank you. We have missed you. We hope you've missed us as much as we have missed you. Again, we have been watching 30 frames a second. This is Takeover Tuesday. And now that Nat has given us the approval to come back out, matter of fact, hold on a minute. You can let him out now. Now that he said we can come back and be part of the show, we will be back. I'm Luciera. Thank you so much for joining us. 30 frames a second. We'll see you soon. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Awesome.